Most founders nail the product, but miss the story. In this Clarity Jam, we dug into how this prosumer SaaS was underselling a really killer idea, which was turning 3D model creation into something anyone can do. The problem? Too much focus on features and not enough on the insane community and social proof driving it. We fixed that by reworking the hero, servicing thousands of user creations, and using FAQs to kill real objections instead of chase SEO. Let's get into it.
My name is Avi Latner. I'm pleased to be here. I'm co-founder and CPO of Sloy, and we are a platform to create 3D models, that means digital models in 3D, using generative AI for mostly game developers, also 3D printers, and basically everybody who wants to create something digital in 3D.
Thanks so much for coming on to Clarity Jams, Avi. And it's such one of the things about this positioning podcast is I get to basically chat with people in very, very different industries. How did you come up with the idea for the company?
So, we came together a few years ago, the three co-founders now were through an accelerator in Norway. I, at that time, really wanted to be independent, a founder. After many years of working, in startups that are not my own, I was really interested in the few years before that in creative tools, and I started practicing Gen AI. It was early days of Gen AI, 2021, and doing my own training. I was thinking of design, like doing things in graphic design, not in 3D. But I met my two other co-founders in Oslo. One of them is a game developer who's worked on automation for 3D, and the other is a gamer and creator also. And we kind of converged on 3D, understanding that it's the next frontier, and that combination of AI and older techniques that are used for automation in 3D together is like an opportunity to create something new and interesting.
I love it. And it sounds like there's many different use cases, from kind of hobbyists here to prosumers to actual really big studios who might be using this. Would you say that most of the people using your platform today, they are kind of into the 3D printing or game development space, or are there kind of other niches, and or like how do you kind of see it in terms of, who are the types of people that you're really kind of trying to go after?
We want to be the hub for everybody who's doing 3D for a creative purpose, right? So there's also 3D in CAD when you have to have precision, or for creating, building things that need to work in the physical world, and that leads you to a whole different space. But if you're doing something creative, we want to be able to adopt you, and sometimes even the difference between a game to, let's say, an education app in 3D, or a metaverse that's used not exactly as not a metaverse, like a VR app maybe for visual architectural visualizations, the lines can start blurring, right? And although right now we see most users are game developers, we think of it a bit more broadly as anybody who's creative. And I'll give you an example of that. Like right now, we mostly produce models, right? You type in what you want to create or give an image reference and you get a free model. But we might create full environments. We want to create full environments. And when you create full 3D environments, you might want to create a video out of an AI video out of that. And so all of a sudden we're creating not objects for games, but actually full 3D, full videos, right? And so, yeah.
I love it. So do you want to go ahead and kind of open up your homepage, and let's kind of take a look at it section by section?
Yeah.
So the immediate thing I first see is it's abundantly clear, one, that you have a very good, strong, minimalist design. So kudos there. And also your H1 is extremely clear for what you do, which is the easiest way to make 3D models. You can obviously tell product led, you want to get as many people into the app as possible. And then your conversion path is, hey, it's so sticky that, people are instantly going to, start to subscribe and become customers. So I love it. One of the things that immediately stands out to me though, is I know for a fact, because I was poking around on your website beforehand as well, that you have a very strong community focus, which I suspect is also probably one of the reasons why you have a good free to paid conversion rate, but it's almost a little bit buried within the hero section. And like, have you ever kind of thought about leading a little bit more with those community creations and all the members you have in Discord, and just kind of putting it right within the hero section, and then also throughout your homepage, which you do right now, but I do wonder if you can make that even stronger.
Just before we said we're going to focus mostly on the website and not look at the app, just to narrow down, but like your question brings up a strategy that we have and absolutely open for discussion, where we want the app is open. You don't need to log into the app. It's completely open, just like Canva. You can start creating in Canva without logging in. You can also go into Sloyd. There's something called, some parts you could just create. In other parts, there's something we call the parametric, which is a kind of a playground where you can create. Other parts of it, where you generate out of text, for example, we allow a preview too. So the idea is and so there you could also see the community model. So in a way, we're making the website thinner and thinner and adding more and more to the app as the place where interaction happens. But it does come at a certain price. Most of the inbound links and the domain authority and the rankings are for the website. And we're not sure that like by increasing, that all the time spent on the app, which is in its own subdomain, takes you back into the website, if that answers. But like if I would go and press get started here, it would take me to this page where I could see community creations. I could see what others have created. I can open something, and I can also download it for free if I wish. Yeah. So here.
I love it. Do you want to go back to your homepage?
Yeah, here. Yeah.
Okay, so I like it, and I would say to your question there, which is, in my own experience, you need both. You need kind of the app side of things, and you also need the homepage to get people into the app who are maybe not ready yet to immediately start. I would almost question is very, very much a very true product-led approach of, hey, make sure your homepage is giving you, it doesn't need to be super comprehensive, but it needs to give them like, that immediate, what I would call a messaging wedge. And that's basically, what is the last thing someone is thinking and the last pain point they have before they go in and start and create their free account, which in your case is, hey, make 3D models a lot faster and a lot better than before. However, where I would challenge you is, don't bury all of the community creations and the number of contributors and the number of Discord members you have halfway down your homepage and or within the app, because that's actually just giving you insane social proof that almost nobody else has. And most, especially in the B2B SaaS side of things, which is where I see a lot of my space as well, most people would kill to have thousands of contributions and thousands of like Discord members, and you're just kind of burying it within the community section of your site within the actual app. So after they've already signed up and after at least somewhat bought in and like halfway down the page.
I'm interested to scroll down and see what we have. As you're talking about community, we have a few testimonials, which we could also talk about that.
I love it. Like that is very strong. The fact that you actually have it right below the hero section where it should be. I would say here with your community creations, I don't think this is as clear and or selling it as much as you could. You have thousands of contributions. Instead of saying what others are creating, to say thousands of people have used Sloyd to, create 3D models. And then you can still have those icons, but maybe you have some sort of pop-up animation or something else in there that kind of signals, oh, these are all the different ways game developers and 3D printers and even studios are using our app.
So here you would put numbers, perhaps?
Yes, I would put numbers. You have that, like, you're basically burying your best social proof. I know you have, a few thousand people in the Discord, and you have thousands of contributions, lean into that. So instead of saying what others are creating, you're just giving them a ton of social proof. And now you're hitting them with your messaging wedge, which is already clear right within your here section. You have the social proof and testimonials right below it. And now you're just further reinforcing that social proof and being like, hey, here are thousands of ways that people are already using your.
Okay, do you think that it's important to have maybe more
have
reviews here? Like, should we put like a carousel that moves? We have like 50 reviews now. We're trying to get more, but some of them are very old, and also the reviews are not easily embedded, so we actually create them. But I bet we can get a lot more that are very positive here, and like yeah, so some numbers on like the thousands of creators we have right now, and the 300,000 creators that we have had through the lifelong, right? We have thousands of subscribers and hundreds of thousands of users over the years.
I mean, like, we didn't want to all of your best proof.
I'll tell you, like, we didn't want to. We thought,
and you just need to just go ahead and put that in there.
I think this is the most powerful way of showing in what we have of creation, because it's an application. You can expand, you could look and rotate. It's an embed, right? You can download, you see the user and so on. But the downside is that it's kind of heavy, right? It's not as SEO performant as just because it's a widget inside that, and we don't want to replicate and have to maintain something like that twice. So would you just put like visually, is this gallery you think good enough right now? Or?
I would definitely say in general, yeah, for the first thing I would do in your position is I would just immediately change what others are creating into leading with a number. So just focus, thousands of, contributions or whatever that actual number is. And then also just put in, a little bit more specifying how the second line, that's something along the lines of, here's all of the use cases. And then what you have now works. I do think if there's a way to do a lightweight version of what you have on the community section, or just changing the format, could go a very long way in just making the conversion on your homepage to the free app that much stronger. But even what you have now with those images and with those model images still can work. And then scroll down. So we kind of covered, you already have social proof, add more of it. If you're already sitting on 50 testimonials, there's no reason you should not have, 6, 9, 12, even 20 of them. And like one of those, oftentimes you'll see it like the wall of love testimonials, where it's just kind of scrolling through and you just see a whole bunch of people talking about it. If you already have that many testimonials, change that section to be the same exact thing. So instead of having 3 testimonials, you now have that whole wall of just endlessly scrolling of a whole bunch of game developers, 3D printers, and all that stuff, just talking about how Roblox folks, gamers, how those people are actually using you. That just gives you more ammo and just going to make an already very strong homepage convert to the free version of your app, and then ultimately paid that much stickier.
A small question, and not like in like, would you? But you call it a wall, and a wall means like scrolling down. Would you do a carousel, or would you do a wall? And I guess the difference why it might matter is that a wall will take more real estate, and it will take more scrolling to get to the community kind of a social proof.
I would say you can do either one. If I was in your position, knowing just what I know from our chat a little bit beforehand, and then as we're recording this right now, I would probably take what others are creating, refactor it to be how we described it, put that right below the hero section. Then you have all of the kind of what you're talking about, what Swoit actually does right below that, where you already have like, hey, using text to create models, using images to create models and all that stuff. That section is great as is, and it tells you that. And then right below that section, I would create that wall of testimonials. So it's kind of that endless, it's maybe not endless scroll, but you're now kind of seeing 20 or 30 of them. And there's like literally plugins that will do that for you. multiple of them that you can literally send back directly on your website. You give them all 50 or whatever testimonials, it displays 20 of them, 30 of them, whatever. And therefore you look very, very prolific. And you're still getting the social proof hit right after the hero section of here's how many contributors are actually already using it. But now you're also just reinforcing, hey, we don't just have 3 testimonials, we have, dozens of them.
Good. That's a really good advice. It's a section where we shifted focus a bit, I think, somewhere, and like it's good to see it through your eyes and yeah. Yeah,
you're sitting on like a mine, like a gold mine of massive amounts of community proof and massive amounts of testimonials. Just making those little small changes on your website and how it's formatted in the sections is going to go in a massively far when it comes to getting a lot more signups into the app.
Okay,
scroll down.
Great.
So I like the section, you're kind of explaining what it does, no notes here, keep scrolling. Again, I like it, good imagery, good sort of things. Yeah, makes it, it's very, very, very clear what Soy does. So I like it. Scroll down. Keep scrolling. So now, right before, okay, wide range of sounds, keep scrolling again. Okay, where you have recognized by the best. Right before that, this is where I would put that wall of text, the wall of testimonials.
Right below it. Okay.
Yeah. So right below the styles, this is where I would have that massive, plugin with all the testimonials.
Would you do something on the top and
and then I would take those recognized by all of those recognized logos. I would just make it one horizontal row, like what you have now, directly in the hero section. And then right below the hero section, you now have the reworked community contributions. So you're reading in with, hey, thousands of contributions, all that stuff directly below. So you have on social proof. And now this section becomes that wall of testimonials to just further reinforce, hey, this is what, here's who's using it, here's how to use it, here's the testimonial. So you're creating a narrative arc.
So here's my thinking of it. I think that a large, that we don't drop too many users between here to here, or to, if it depends what they write, to here, right? Most people continue. There's no login, so there's not a lot of cost to that. So I'm wondering how much they scroll down within the homepage. And so if that's the case, and maybe it's wrong, we actually don't have heat maps and sessions tracking what's happening on the website. But if the assumption is right that most users don't scroll all the way down, then what do I care most about telling them here? I think that when they come here, if they come here, they'll get the social proof of creation pretty strongly. I think that this is something I want to show them, because people are, they're gonna get one try, and then we're gonna ask them to subscribe, and that's where they need to pay. And I think, and they haven't heard of Sloyd before that, right? It's not Canva where you kind of it's there and you know what you're getting. So I'm thinking maybe this improved is actually something we should keep on top, but maybe make it a lot stronger, as you suggest. But then I'm thinking, if maybe people do scroll down before they move, they will see it, and maybe there are more stronger things we could emphasize, like the community aspect, the type of creations that we have, and so on.
I mean, bluntly, the number of users you have in your community is probably the strongest proof and the strongest signal for a homepage, because a homepage is there for people who are, maybe just still figuring out what you do, trying to, figure out, is this, the right solution for their problem, all that side of things. So yeah, you do need to communicate that very, very quickly within about 3 seconds. But then for people who are wanting to do a little bit of research, they are going to scroll down. Maybe they're not going to read all the copy, but they're still going to kind of see the glimpses of that. And that's where I would kind of lean into a framework that I use both on these clarity terms, and then also when I am doing positioning and messaging for clients, that I think about kind of basically wedge to wow. So your messaging wedge, what we already established, right in the hero section, add in some social proof right into that hero section. So it becomes abundantly clear within, 3 seconds if this is the right solution for them. And then the rest of your page is basically those wow moments. It's like, oh, and now I'm already convinced within 3 seconds that Squid solves my problem. Now, if I keep scrolling, I'm just going to continue to be wowed by the number of community contributions, the number of testimonials you have, how many different features are within the app that I didn't even know I needed, but now I can't foresee myself not ever having again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next section would be right before the FAQs, I would further reinforce having this a new section that's literally just like a final CTA where it's like, hey, let's further reinforce, get started. Maybe even having that kind of prompt again. Yeah. So right
this
here,
one, it doesn't have to be right at the bottom.
Yeah, I would put it right at the bottom, and then I would have the FAQ right below it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the other question that I always come up now, I want to say after about 20 of these podcast episodes, I've seen this now, is the amount of people who use FAQs as basically SEO instead of what I would argue is the most effective for conversions, which is using it as objection killers. So if you happen to know offhand the 3 biggest reasons why people do not get started within your web app, that's what you should be using within the FAQ, not, what AI generator should I use unless it is an objection. I would just go ahead and put that in.
That's a really good point. What are their objections?
Like, what are the biggest reasons why somebody wouldn't sign up today?
So we do get questions, and so I can try and think about it. We've gone through such an exercise before. Like, do I really get unlimited creation? So we're the only one who are offering unlimited creations. I think that's actually in here. Maybe that should be the first one here. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that yes, you get unlimited creations when you subscribe. There are questions about license. Can I use it in my game commercially? Can I resell it? And the answer there is yes, you can use it commercially. No, you can't resell it on the regular plus plan. You can resell things if you're a pro creator. So that will give you the license to resell. They are thinking of use cases. There's some use cases where we're actually not that good, and we don't, like if somebody tries to create something with joints that connect to each other, or create something for industrial purposes like that, then we probably don't have the precision to do it. And so we can, right, about that, can you upload your own model? Right now, we don't allow uploading a 3D model. And then maybe the other things that we do allow. So those are the type of questions, I guess, yeah, that they're not sure about what they're going to get. You do have a preview. It's kind of like a free trial. But it doesn't,
that's what I would lean with into for the FAQs and get rid of everything else that is basically just filling space and just lean directly into those objections and how you answer them. Because ultimately the main goal of the homepage is, basically a showcase that you solve their problem very, very quickly within a few seconds, give them the social proof. And then basically you're just selling them into, hey, get that started within the web app right off of the bat, and then utilizing the really strong web app experience that you already have from free to paid.
I can almost see how the evolution as we evolved changed the questions here. And sometimes you could maybe even see, like, as you say, SEO language come into here as information for a search engine. And, we need to give it this fresh look, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything else before we wrap up?
I don't know. I think it's been really, really fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you again for coming on to Clarity Jams, Abby.